So imagine checking your banking app, right? And the number is negative. It's cold, hard, binary math. But what if accepting that negative balance was actually like a total rejection of your divine nature?
Yeah, I mean, it is a really radical thought. We're looking at a text today that argues poverty isn't just, unfortunate, it's entirely unbiblical.
Exactly. We are into a really fascinating piece of theology. Specifically, we're examining the April 10th entry from the Rhapsody of Reality's daily devotional by Pastor Chris.
Right, the entry titled Rich in Christ.
A believer's spiritual inheritance includes literal, tangible financial abundance.
Yeah, and the foundation of this argument rests on a very specific and entirely literal reading of a biblical transaction.
Okay, let's get into that transaction.
So the author points to 2 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 9, which basically says, though he was rich, yet for your sakes he became poor.
Wait, I have to push back here. Historically, I mean, Jesus was a first-century carpenter who literally preached, blessed are the poor.
Right, yeah.
So how does this devotional reconcile that historical reality with the idea that he possessed vast literal wealth to transfer to us?
Well, the text completely bypasses the metaphor. It argues that Jesus was never spiritually poor, so the poverty he took on in that verse, it has to be material.
Oh, wow. So it's not a metaphor at all.
Exactly. It posits that Jesus laid aside actual material wealth for one specific purpose. So you, the reader, gain prosperity, supply, and a literal supernatural advantage.
Okay, so it's not about Jesus giving up spiritual glory. They are arguing for a literal cosmic swapping of bank accounts.
Yes, exactly.
It's like cosmic trust fund.
Yeah.
A literal substitutionary transfer of wealth directly to the believer. It's almost like this zero-sum spiritual transaction where he emptied his earthly account to fill yours.
A literal transfer that is already completed. Jesus took the poverty, so you don't have to. The author completely rejects the idea that God's plan could ever include earthly lack.
But, I mean, there's an obvious cognitive dissonance here.
Mm-hmm.
If my spiritual trust fund is full, but my earthly bank account is overdrawn, my brain is going to panic.
Oh, absolutely. It's a huge gap.
So how does the author expect believers to bridge that psychological gap?
By dictating an absolute psychological shift. The text cites Ephesians chapter 3, verse 8 to describe these riches using these really intense adjectives. Words like boundless, fathomless, incalculable, and exhaustless.
Exhaustless, that is a strong word.
Yeah, it really is. This is introduced as kingdom wealth, which the author argues is the true reality, superior to earthly economics.
And since this kingdom wealth is supposedly superior, the author essentially demands you override your own senses. The behavioral instructions are incredibly strict.
Right, they really are.
It says, refuse to think lack. Refuse to talk scarcity. So is this basically a theological framework for, wealth manifestation and positive affirmation?
That's a great way to put it. The text treats spoken words as the mechanism to pull that spiritual wealth into the physical world.
Like speaking it into existence.
Exactly. The devotional instructs you to actively verbalize your status, repeating phrases like, I have unsearchable riches. The underlying logic is that earthly scarcity is an illusion compared to divine reality.
I see.
By speaking these affirmations, you actively reject that illusion and align your mind with your divine inheritance.
It forces a completely positive affirmation loop. Because if you acknowledge the lack, you are essentially denying the cosmic transaction.
You're denying what's already yours.
But is there a purpose to all this wealth in this framework, or is it just about personal enrichment?
Well, the text actually ties this personal abundance to a broader mission. You accept and manifest this wealth so you can give lavishly to advance the gospel.
Oh, okay. So the prosperity is both a personal right and a tool for a larger goal.
Right, it's highly functional.
So to summarize the core takeaway for you listening today, this devotional deeply merges spiritual identity with a concrete financial mindset.
It takes the abstract concept of divine inheritance and makes it a literal, bankable reality.
Completely rejecting scarcity as undivine. It fundamentally reframes how you are supposed to interpret your own reality.
It demands a total paradigm shift, yeah.
Which leaves us with a really fascinating question to ponder on your own.
What's that?
If you fully adopt this belief that your kingdom wealth is truly exhaustless and superior to earthly economics, how might you approach everyday concepts like financial risk, budgeting, or debt?
That is the big question.
Right. If your earthly ledger says zero, but your spiritual trust fund says exhaustless, which math do you ultimately trust?
We trust you were blessed by this episode. To gain unlimited access to Rhapsody of Realities by Pastor Chris, please download the Rhapsody app using the link myapp.rhapsodyofrealities.org. God bless you.